What's up, guys? Ryan Von Adler back here with another episode of Tone Clones, the series where I try and recreate famous and iconic guitar tones using nothing but the guitars that I already have and my Kemper Profiler, which is hiding right behind my desk right here. So today, Mick Mars of Mötley Crüe. Some undeniable riffs, awesome, just powerful, hits you right in the chest, hits you right in the feels. I mean, the guy, he's blues with like a metal edge. And whether you guys like Mötley Crüe or all the drama surrounding what's going on right now with the band and Mick's exit, it's pretty undeniable that they have some awesome riffs and some amazing songs. So I want to go ahead and capture some of just the tones. Now, usually with this, we're using profiles from the Rig Exchange or profiles that come stock on your Kemper Profiler. So today we're actually using one that is standard on there. So if you guys have a Kemper, you all have this profile. We're using all the stock plugins or stock stomp boxes and stuff like that. So this is one that anybody can recreate if you have a Kemper. So first of all, I want to start with the guitar. Mick, when they first started, was using a lot of Les Pauls. He had a Les Paul Custom, I believe it was the late 70s, a black one, had a little bit of a diamond pattern in yellow right up here. Later started using more Charvels, hammers, kind of the super strat stuff. If I remember correctly, it was because of his ankylosing spondylitis, his back condition. He just needed to get a lighter guitar. And if you guys have ever played a Les Paul, they are some heavy guitars. The one that I have right here, I think is about 9.7 pounds. So if you have any back issues, these are definitely not the guitar for you, but man, do they sound great. So starting with the guitar, we have a 1989 Epiphone Les Paul Custom. This one has the / Seymour Duncan APH2 pickups in it. So not exactly the pickups that Mick was using, but it's pretty close. They're more vintage, kind of overwound, hot rodded sound. They work really well for this kind of 80s hair metal, as well as classic rock. Anything you really want to put through them, they sound great, but this is what we're using today. From that, we're going into our Kemper. And then Mick, known for using a lot of JCM 800s, specifically like some modded ones, and Soldanos, other various kind of amp mods or amp modders that were around back in the 80s. So as far as our amp, as far as our profile, let's go ahead and hop in. I'll show you what we're using here. So we are using a stock profile. This is the Mars CM800 KK. So it's the Kerry King JCM 800, or that's the profile by Lars Lutke, I think is how you say it. So like I said, this one is stock. Everyone has this in their Kemper. So give it a shot. It's awesome right out of the box. And we really didn't have to do a lot to it. So let's go ahead and start off with the amp settings. So this would be what you see on the front of the amp if you're playing in real life. I've got the gain at 7.8, bass at -1.1, 3.4 for the middle, treble, a little bit of a boost in the presence. Also notice right here, we've got the amp model. Kemper did just release the liquid profiling pretty recently, and I haven't played around with it yet. So I'll probably do a video on that here soon, but I just left it on Kemper generic. If you really wanted to, you could go through and change. I would probably suggest doing either one of the Soldano profiles here or even one of the Marshalls. So you have like the JCM 800 right there, just to give you a little bit more control, a little more accuracy. The other things that I changed, the tube shape down at 3.3, tube ice is still pretty standard there. And I don't think I touched the cabinet at all, but you do have some controls here if you want to play around and give it a cab preset. So you've got a couple different Celestian models down here. Greenbacks are always great, but I'm pretty sure he was just using the vintage 30s or greenbacks. I can't remember which. So first in the chain, got a noise gate because always want to make sure things are quiet, cranked up pretty high because this guitar is fairly noisy. I haven't exactly figured out where the grounding issue is, but there's a little bit of buzz, so hopefully that doesn't come through too much. Moving on, we have the graphic EQ, which is where most of this tone shaping is coming from. So these are the settings. I'm not going to read them all off, but if you want to copy them, feel free. And with everything, all the EQ, there's a lot of room to change stuff to fit not only your guitar, but also your ears. this is kind of more of an overall Mick Mars tone that kind of gets you through anything from the first record all the way through, I'd say, Dr. Feelgood. Anything past that started getting a little bit weirder. After the EQ, we're moving on to our Kemper drive, and I'm just using a Klon for this. Basically, we're just using the distortion, and then I started with the Klon 1 and then tweaked the settings just a little bit, a little more drive, kept the tone pretty neutral. Pretty awesome rig right there just to start with. It's really nothing special. If you wanted to add in, say like his talk box, I have one of those sitting up on the shelf. If you want to do the solo for Kickstart My Heart, or if you want to throw in a wah or something like that, you can. But I kept it pretty standard, didn't want to get too complicated with reverbs or delays. This is just pretty much his rhythm, his lead tone for any of those Mötley Crüe riffs you want to knock out. It's pretty much all we got. I mean, it's a really, really simple rig as far as the ones that I've done. This is probably the easiest profile. Not really too much you had to tweak. The JCM 800 Carry King edition was pretty great right out of the box. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know how close you think I got in the comments down below. Now, keep in mind, when you are listening to guitar tracks on their own, it probably sounds a little more shrill than what you're used to hearing in the mix. Now, the reason is when you're listening to a full mix, one, it's been EQ'd, but you also have all the other instruments in there supporting that sonic landscape. So you have the bass, you have guitar double tracks, you have the drums, all these other things. So you're carving out all these EQs that make it sound really full, but when you take everything on their own, they sound a little bit thinner. They don't sound quite like you expect them to. So I'm sure the guitar tone sounds a little more shrill, a little more trebly than you're probably thinking the guitar does, but I encourage you to just go on YouTube, check out some of the isolated guitar tracks, and keep that in mind. But if there's anybody you guys want to see me try and recreate in the future, please let me know down in the comment section as well. I have a couple others that I have planned, and they should be coming out here pretty soon. So if you want to be notified of those, please hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.